After our sit yesterday, someone asked a really interesting question about labelling thoughts. So I first came across this with the great Charlotte Joko Beck, who essentially encouraged people doing Zazen to label their thoughts. So you label a thought as, say, anxiety or dissatisfaction or excitement, and then you put it to one side. There's obviously a number of separate issues arising here. So one issue is that the risk of labelling a thought is that you're then caught up in a narrative. So if you label a thought as anxiety, then you're thinking, well, why am I anxious? And you're kind of making up a big story, and you're becoming rather disconnected from your actual embodied experience. I think that's one risk. But the other thing is you might be wrong. So very often people label an emotion in an obviously wrong way. So very often people that are angry say that they're sad, for example. And I wonder about the kind of origin of this, that when as little children we might be upset or angry or whatever, and our mother comes to us and comforts us and kind of explains what we're feeling and why we're feeling it. And once we've got that explanation, then somehow, in a way, it's contained, it's culpable. And as adults, we can do something similar. But of course, our mother's effort is an effort of translation, and that translation could be mistaken. And our own translation of what we're experiencing might be mistaken also. In fact, it might be impossible to translate our actual experience without making mistakes. And this issue of translation has been very familiar in Buddhism from the outset. So in the original Enlightenment story of the Buddha originally thought that what he'd understood was too difficult to explain to people, and it was only after a lot of reflection that he thought that he should share it. And it's an issue in Buddhist history of how he decided to share that. So whether he expressed the truth as he experienced it, or whether he expressed the truth in what's called expedient means. So you express the truth in a way that makes sense to the person who you're talking. And although it might seem weird to put it in this way, as it were, we're all clairvoyant, but clairvoyant with ourselves. So we're always experiencing this flood of something which we then require to make intelligible, first to ourselves and then to someone else. In chapter 1 of the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha, whilst meditating, shoots out a beam of light from his third eye in the direction of the eastern lands, and he illuminates 18,000 worlds. And within all those worlds, there are people going through the 6 realms of transmigration, the Shravakas, the Pratyeka Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, the Buddhas teaching those people in those lands. It appears to be a fantastical image, but I think it's an accurate description of our experience in Zazen. There's the scale and range and diversity of experience and expression and emotion and thought and all the rest of it. But it's all contained within this all-encompassing light emanating from the Buddha. So this incredible and diverse experience is all held within the illuminating space and light of this awareness. And that seems to me to be a crucial clue for how we should regard everything which arises from us. So we're not labelling a thought in the sense of labelling like a piece of luggage or labelling an inert thing, but rather we're identifying something which has its own life and change and connections and capacities for transformation.